welcome to the Fantasy Boardroom. I am your host and fantasy CEO, Tycoon. This is the very first episode of the Fantasy Boardroom. We're glad you joined us. And today I am lucky enough to have from the Rumboyz Network, Rumboyz Robbie. Robbie, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, cheers to me, cheers to you. Shout out to the whole Fantasy Boardroom crew. Dilly.
Hell yeah, man. Uh, and just to let you guys know, this was pretty short notice for Robbie, so really got to give him big ups for being here.
I
So
love it.
today, go ahead now.
I was like, oh no, all good. I love it. I'm excited to be here.
So today we're going to jump through or discuss through 3 incoming rookies for 2021. We're going to take a look at their redraft prospects. Right now at this time of year, obviously, I think dynasties year round, but it's a little tough to focus on at certain points. We're all, a little tired of it after rookie draft season. We've heard enough about these guys for dynasty for the last 3-4 months at least.
Yeah.
So I think redraft is the way to focus here, and really that's where you get the gem value, I think, from rookies is in redraft, since everybody's targeting them in dynasty. So we're going to go through that. We're going to be discussing Travis Etienne, Rashad Bateman, and Elijah Moore. Then we're going to have a little quick update on Scott Fishbowl.
Yes.
But yes, I've been talking about it too much, so I don't necessarily want to lean in it too much right here. But on Twitter, I won't shut the hell up about it. So
I don't think realistically anyone out there, in the Twitterverse can. I mean, it is the biggest charity league. I'll be sure that throughout today's show, when I'm dropping my fantasy takes, and I'm dropping fantasy advice for everyone out there listening, checking it out, that I referred to Scott Fishbowl settings a little, but I'm also going to keep things, very, very standard for you guys. So so it's going to be fun. It's going to be, I should say, standard up. PPR structure, 12-team PPR structure. So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited, bro.
Same here. And thank you for noting that. Yeah, same for me. As we discussed the redraft settings here, we're discussing your general 12-team PPR scoring league. So here in the boardroom, when we do have rookies here, they are subject to entrance interviews, and that's in fact what we are going to be doing here. And our first interview is going to be Mr. Travis Etienne, running back, Jacksonville Jaguars. So, Robbie, we talked about him a little bit in the pre-show. Now, you made a comment to me. You think this is going to be, clearly a two-headed attack. Can you expand a little bit on why you think that's going to be the case in Jacksonville?
Well, between Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, it's reunited, and it feels so damn good for those two, right? Urban Meyer, he's clearly trying to keep that tandem together because of the trust factor. So that's a clear dead giveaway for us for all of us that have really been pulling for the undrafted rookie free agent, well, former rookie, but the undrafted free agent and James Robinson. All of us that have really been pulling for him. We already know that he is going to take a hit. Now, the question that we now have to ask ourselves is, how big of a hit does Robinson take? And I think that Robinson did well enough. And the reason why whenever, in drafts, we see Etienne go first and then Robinson, maybe a couple picks after, right in that same round. Or either we see James Robinson and then Etienne after, maybe, vice versa, either way. And the reason why I think that the ADP is showing us that, I think we both are going around about the 4th round. You can usually grab both around the 4th round. I think the reason why ADP is showing that, especially in, early mocks and, early drafts that we're all participating in, is because the consensus around the community is that both will be in a 50-50 split. It's either A, going to be a 50-50 split, or either B, I personally believe that James Robinson, being that he's already adjusted to that NFL speed, maybe use Etienne more so on the passing downs, out the backfield. and James Robinson you use between the tackles, and you use really hammer the rock. So it's going to depend on how it works out. Unfortunately, we are only given 3 weeks of preseason, and then we're right into the real thing. We do NFL give us back that extra preseason game, because us as fantasy analysts, we actually need that fourth game desperately. So you really only have to have two games during the preseason to decide. This year's going to be a little bit differently because like I said, we're drafting in the middle of the preseason. We have 3 weeks of drafting, and then that final week, we're all getting ready, setting our rosters, tinkering, getting sending out trades. This year, you're going to have the 2 weeks of preseason, and then by week 3 of preseason, that final week of preseason, your all your drafts should be complete, and you should be gearing up, getting your mind ready for the season, and you should be seeking out and maybe looking to move one of these two based off of their preseason performances, and maybe you can get a haul.
All right, so for those that might be drafting that, say, the night before the season starts, so they're not going to have that.
Yeah, they're not going to have that strategy. Yeah.
Just right now, who are you taking in redraft only between Etienne and Robinson?
For me, I hands down 100% want either one of them. But going back to what I stated earlier, so if I'm not able to get one, I will get the other. Now my preference though is James Robinson. But that is more so just biases of me as a personality, always wanting to go for the underdog and see them be successful. So in fantasy, you want to have a guy to root for, and I want to root for the undrafted guy, not necessarily the drafted guy so much. Now, does history tell us that usually, because there's a reason why you draft a guy, and there's a reason why, James Robinson wasn't. And we just haven't really seen that yet. History has taught us that the drafted always, tends to outproduce the undrafted, but we also do get Cinderella stories. I wholeheartedly believe that James Robinson can be our generation's Cinderella story, or in this upcoming generation's Cinderella story. So that's why I'm drafting. Yeah, like it sounds terrible because there's no real stats or analytics to where it's like, well, why are you? It's because it's just really just rooting for a guy and just wanting a certain outcome. And that's where I kind of come off and wanting James Robinson more.
I can see that. I don't know if everybody's necessarily going to want James Robinson more, but as far as like your reasoning why, I think everybody can root. I don't know anybody that doesn't like James Robinson, the guy and the player. I don't think necessarily anybody's rooting against James Robinson. I mean, what's not to like? I mean, we'd all love to see him succeed. I guess the only question is, does Etienne's rival kind of
from
progress?
Yeah, from a fantasy standpoint, you're like, damn, like it's like okay, like you're thinking about the narrative, from a fantasy standpoint of like well, he was undrafted, like they drafted this guy, first round, they're gonna use him, or second round, or whatever. I can't even remember drafting so long ago, and I covered it. But like it's obvious, it's apparent. It's like, okay, well, yeah, like you're gonna use Etienne. It's like, oh well, that's Trevor Lawrence's teammate. Like he's gonna lean Etienne. He's gonna tell the coaches, I want Etienne on this play. I trust Etienne here. So a lot of that it does weigh into it. But I don't know. Call me a hopeless romantic, I guess. Call me hopeless. I'll be that. I'll be hopeless in this scenario.
No, please do. But I'm going to push back on you here because similarly, for fandom reasons, rooting for reasons, I've got a little connection to Clemson. My aunt worked for Clemson for a little while, a few years back, so
nice.
Drug me into really following the program more closely, and not too long before they started to really become a power in college football. So it was really good timing as well. I think it was right around the beginning of the Taj Boyd era, that happened. And so I've been a huge fan of Etienne since he stepped on campus. I've been waiting to see him in the NFL for years. I was actually pretty disappointed when he chose to return for a senior season last year. Understandable, but I was ready to have him join the league. So from that perspective, huge ETN guy. I think he was outstanding in college. The Kamara comps that you see once in a while from those that are also high on him, I think, are a little much. So I don't want to take it too far, but I do think he is a better receiver than I think a lot of people give him credit for. Not just because of the stats. I think he's a better skill receiver than he's given credit for. He's got size, strength. I mean, I can
100%. I can 100% agree with you. Especially if we look at ETN and Lawrence's film, right? And you got to watch it together because they're playing together in the NFL, right? So you have to evaluate the two together from fantasy football standpoint when you watch the film. When we see these two guys, and we see their I don't know if synchronicity would be is a word. I'm making it up, and it's going to be a word. Why? Because I'm drinking Coors, so it's going to be a word right now.
Here's for me.
Yeah, exactly right. When we look at the synchronicity, how they work with each other, obviously it's a scheme fit for Urban Meyer, or else he wouldn't. A lot of fans, a lot of casual fans, forget that coaches and scouts, they are specifically grabbing personnel. And that's where, the measurables and all the comps and all the drills and everything, the gauntlet, the 40, they're trying to get fits for specific schemes. They're building scheme fits. There is, can you make it in the NFL? But it's also, hey, once we get into the draft room and we're in the war room from the NFL, GM and everything standpoint, once they're in that situation, it's a scheme fit. So yes, are you right in this scenario? Oh, you're facing this way. I'm sorry. Are you right in this scenario? And are you correct in more so voting for ETN? Yes. Is every ETN truther out there? Yes. All that James Robinson guys like myself have to stand on is purely that you're cheering for a guy for the sake of a Cinderella story, for the sake of an underdog story. That's it. It's for a narrative. And I'll be one of the James Robinson guys to go out there and say that, and I'll say it on record, and it's fine.
It's not like he's not good either. I mean,
exactly.
Clearly, the guy's proven himself.
100%. So I mean, I'm excited to see how this plays out. But when all's well and ends well, will be okay. It will be ETN at the end of the day. Damn, that rhymed, and I wasn't trying.
No, I agree, and I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. I mean, I don't think Robinson gets cut out necessarily, but I think he's out-touching Robinson quickly in my mind, not only because of the draft capital, but also because of obviously the chemistry with Lawrence, and I think he's just going to show out and fast. I have a lot of belief in the guy and in the growth of the offense in general. Just the same nervousness as everybody else, possibly about one Urban Meyer. So
14 really, personnel in the chat. Shout out to them. I was just on their show and they go ETN Robinson all day.
Not these guys. Yeah, I fight a lot of people when it comes to ETN. Oh no, wait, never mind. Yeah, you said the other way around. Sorry, 14.
Yep.
My bad.
Yeah. They said Troy King, what up? What up?
In here. Well, now the pressure's on. Thanks a lot, Troy. Appreciate it.
Pressure ain't on. We're just doing a little live. We're doing a little podcast. But no, man. So no, that's how I feel about those two.
Well, I would just say to close out the redraft portion of ETN, in terms of being high, looks like he's going RB22 and sleeper redraft ADP right now. I think that's too low. I say.
I see here. ETN actually. So going back to what I said, I'm gonna try and get a share of this backfield one way or another. Going back to when my mock with the homie Marcus Grant and the NFL Network crew, I ended up getting ETN at the 4.9, and Robinson went before ETN at the 4.5.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
all right.
This is just something I think about. like I said, I mean, but these guys are going in the same round, and about that spacing apart. What's that about? About four? Yeah, about 4 picks apart.
Yep.
Definitely have it something, and I've also seen this, reverse. Think about this heading into drafts, heading into your redraft season. Clearly, fantasy enthusiasts want one of the two. Clearly, none of us know how this is going to work out. Hence, them being 4 spots apart in the exact same round.
Yeah.
Monitor this closely. Follow your beat writers, your Duval beat writers, and I promise you, the littlest, slightest piece of information will give you the edge. Follow the fantasy boardroom. Make sure you subscribe. You subscribe to the homie Tycoon, and you're gonna be okay.
Yes, sir. All right, let's move on to our next rookie. We're going to talk about a guy I think that's a little more polarizing in Rashad Bateman.
Yes.
And actually, I don't even think it's a whole lot of debate really regarding Bateman himself. I think it's really a Lamar argument. There's obviously strong opinions about Lamar on both sides. So, I mean, if you're Team Lamar, you're probably relatively high on Bateman. You think, if you're not on Team Lamar, you're probably hard passing on Bateman.
Well,
I've seen a lot of both.
Well, this is where we have the benefit of advanced analytics. And one of the things that I enjoy is, shout out to the homie Matt Harmon, his reception perception. And then also, shout out to just finding heat maps. I can't remember where I got my or who sent me Lamar Jackson's heat map. Damn it! Oh my gosh, I need that source.
Me too, because I know it's.
It's one of you guys.
Yes,
hey Nick up in the chat. One of you guys out there that are watching this sent me Lamar Jackson's heat map when I was doing the film breakdown over a couple of months ago, and I cannot remember who. And I'm so sorry. Just know that I am grateful for you for sending me the data. But furthermore, the reason why I bring up these two things and why I utilize them hand in hand is because when we look at the reception perception, and break down the route trees, and then if you take Rashad Bateman's, all right, I wish I had some props or something. If you take Rashad Bateman's route tree, right, from reception perception, and then we take Lamar Jackson's heat map, all right, where he targets the field, all right, where everything is going to be in red of where he's really hot and where he completes most of his passes and where he throws the most. Everything on the outside is going to be in blue. And you put them little motherfuckers on top of each other, bro. Dude.
I need to see that.
We put Rashad Bateman in the slot. We got Mark Andrews coming off at tight end. And then, of course, Boyle will do his couple of plays or whatever. And, bro, we're talking straight middle of the field dominance. We're talking linebackers having to jump out the gym in order to contend with Bateman. Like, listen.
And that ain't happening.
No, it's not happening. It's not happening. Like, is Bateman going to come off the board for you probably in any capacity? More than likely not. But is he worth hitting the watch button? Absolutely. If Bateman comes off the board in your leagues, if we learn something between now and camps, cool. But right now I haven't mocked where aside from Dynasty, I haven't mocked in redraft where Bateman comes off the board. I'm not partial to making him my Mr. Irrelevant. And honestly, you guys shouldn't be either. In Superflex, I have no problems taking rolling the dice and making him a wide receiver 3. There are people that are willing to take Damani Brown, freaking where like he has to deal with Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel. Why not just roll the dice and go Bateman?
Sammy Watkins, man.
By the way, no, I apologize. Bateman did go. He went 8-1 in the NFL Network mock. Yep, redraft. I'm sorry. Whoa. I was looking for it. So I correct what I just previously said.
That's even spicier than me. I thought I was about to come out here being, president of the Bateman fan club. That is tremendous.
Yep, Yeah, 8-1, and that was by the homie Clock Management, So, and he's a pretty sharp guy. He's a pretty
Hey,
sharp
absolutely.
analyst. So yeah.
Love clock management.
And now I'm looking at my Scott Fish to see my Scott Fish mock to see if this came off, and he hasn't even came off in there yet. But seeing that he went in 8-1 against those type of guys, that high level competition, I think that he could be coming off, in your Scott Fish formats, probably 10, 11, 12th round.
That's about where I've been mocking like crazy for Scott Fishbowl, and that's generally where I've seen it. It seems to be 11th, 12th round. Knowing that, I mean, every division's draft is so different when it comes to that tournament, but
Bro, I
depending
wish
on team build, I mean, wide receiver 4 in round 10, I'd be all over that just to make sure I don't lose him in the 11th or 12th. I mean, I don't think he's going to be this year's Justin Jefferson. I think those are lofty standards to set for anybody. I don't think there is a this year's Justin Jefferson, but I do think he's going to be the one receiver that's drafted relatively late, certainly not as a starter for almost any team that is going to be a starter by the end of the season.
Let me just state really quick, and it might be, and it's going to be slightly off topic. I respect the fact that you just articulated what you stated about Justin Jefferson. When you touch on him really quick, I don't think that anyone's going to do that. That is putting so much respect on the feat that he accomplished, because that feat was once accomplished by one Randy Moss. So for everyone out there on Twitter, who's the next Justin Jefferson? Like, you're essentially saying who's gonna re-break Randy Moss's record again. I mean, and look at how many years apart from when Randy played to Jefferson, from Randy's rookie year to Jefferson's rookie year, that it took for us to witness that greatness. Guys, I know that we play fantasy and everything, but please pay homage and please respect the greats, because they made the game what it is today. So I love that you worded it that way. Thank you, man.
Well, actually, I kind of want to build on your point right there. I think part of it that skewed that is we've had pretty fantastic rookie success the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
The 2019 and 2020 classes were pretty
Spoiled
phenomenal
us
by your typical rookie class standards. I mean, in terms of quickly making an impact, and especially say anybody that's only started playing Dynasty in the last year or two. I mean, that's absolutely going to warp the way you look at it.
Yeah.
And forgetting, I mean, what we all grew up watching. These guys don't grow on trees. Like you said, the gap between Randy Moss and Justin Jefferson. I mean, how long ago did Randy Moss enter the league?
Randy Moss was my first ever. Yeah, Randy Moss was my first ever fantasy football pick. I was 11 years old.
That's what's up.
Like, come on, So I just want to say, man, I appreciate that you worded it that way, because a lot of people they're not paying respect to the greats when sometimes when we play this game of fantasy. So I appreciate that, bro, because reality and fantasy do meet. They do meet. We are playing a fake game based off real life.
And we're only doing that because we love the real life game.
Exactly.
Yeah, it all goes back to that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, yeah. So getting back to no worries, all good. It's the flow.
But no, Bateman.
As far as Bateman goes, so there's not a this year's Justin Jefferson. There's nobody that's going to do that. He's not even my rookie wide receiver one. I still would give that to Chase. I'm pretty encouraged by that situation still, which is funny because I'm probably lower on Burrow than most, but that's a whole different story. But as it relates to Bateman, I do think has a great shot to be the rookie wide receiver too, where I'd have him right now. And I do think you're going to be able to draft him at I think he's going to be well underdrafted. Let's put it that way. You're going to get very good value in PPR, standard, whatever format. I think he's going to be a main target. I think they're going to throw more with not only having him, obviously, but Lamar having. And we talk a lot of crap on Sammy Watkins sometimes. I mean, he's an easy target for certain reasons. I mean, I don't hate the guy or anything, but I feel like he does get piled on. So, but he's a talented player. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So a three-headed monster of, well, maybe not monster, but a three-pronged attack of Andrews, Watkins, and Bateman is nothing to sneeze at.
No,
Certainly
and then they still have Tyler Wallace, and Marquise Brown. Like, Hollywood is still fast as hell. We just So I mean, what are you gonna do when you have so Bateman's gonna go up there. This is why I say line Bateman up in the slot, right? Because Bateman's gonna go up there and he's gonna challenge any linebacker and any safety at the highest point of the catch. Like that's just the player that he is. He's just a dog. Like he's just gonna go out there and he's just gonna be a dog, And I like that in Bateman. Like I saw that. I saw it on his film, and I enjoy that. I enjoy tall, lanky receivers like that. Then we got the homie Hollywood. All right, who I've met, I've interviewed, and I've seen this man run on Santa Monica Beach on the sand and still just fly, just gone, and Andy Isabella on the other side, just chilling, just all of them just chilling, right? Bro, I'm telling you. As long as you got someone like that stretching the field, and then you got Sammy Watkins who can be at his age still be a decent possession receiver, and then you can play him on the outside. He's been around the NFL a long time, so you can move him around anywhere. And then you got Mark Andrews. Come on.
Andrews and Bateman going over the middle all day, just
done.
Borderline erotic thought to me. So I'm pretty.
How do you stop that size? How do you stop that size and those massive hands going up for the rock? Like it's.
And you can't sell out for that kind of coverage either. I mean, because Lamar's to the house.
What are safeties going to do? Just bail and just bail back in the whole time? Like no, like it's because you're done. And then they still have mad running backs. They still have lots of running backs.
I think you're getting me more excited about Baltimore as a whole as we're going through here.
Dude, they're so fantasy. They're the low key fantasy friendly team that because they have Lamar Jackson as their QB, everyone overlooks every other piece there. But like this season, especially with Bateman coming in, I'll play with a couple of those pieces. Like why not? Like why not? Why not? Like I'd be willing to draft Bateman. I'd be willing to draft Andrews. I'd be willing to draft Gus Bus.
Love Edwards. Edwards.
Yep, love Edwards. Lamar, obviously, Hollywood could be a Mr. Irrelevant pick, or either just put on the watch list, or I could grab him off of waivers. Like where does this team? We all know that Sammy Watkins is going to be good for week one only, and then you trade him away. So this team is fantasy friendly all around, no matter what scenario, good or bad, because you can trade pieces. You can.
Completely agree. And a lot of the pieces are going to be found at value. I think the only ones that are going to be drafted around the right price or possibly overdrafted are Lamar and maybe Dobbins.
Yeah, but Lamar's going to be overdrafted by default because people are going to miss out on the other value of other positions. So now they end up having to trade that. That's why I feel like that's why you go QB early, is because you trade the top prospect QB so that you can go get a top prospect of something that you may have, or a decent prospect or a couple of decent prospects that you may be lacking. And then, you kind of build, from there. I mean, but to each his own, right?
Oh, yes, of course. All right. So moving on. Well, actually, no, not moving on. So that's
excited for Bateman. I'm so sorry.
I'm super excited too. This is the guy I was most excited to talk about. I think the other two guys, we're talking about ETN and then more here in a minute or two. Got a lot more discussion, and I find Bateman to be a little more polarizing than the other two. So it's just a lot more of a fun discussion, and a guy I'm just super excited about because I think a good chunk of the community has faded him. So in some places, I've had a chance to get good value.
Oh yeah.
I mean, leading into that brief dynasty nugget for him. I mean, for me, Superflex, it was early second. Actually, he wasn't even being picked in the first, so I was able to get him, in my opinion, cheap in a couple places, and couldn't be happier about that. I mean, as excited as I am for him to redraft, exponentially more in Dynasty.
Oh yeah, so like in Dynasty, like if you're in Dynasty and you're rostering Bateman right now, just know that you got away with the steal and don't let anyone else convince you otherwise. Like, here's the thing: people fade a player like Bateman or fade, Ravens receivers because they're worried about Lamar's running ability. Do we forget that mobile quarterbacks throw on the run?
Well,
Half the clips that you guys get excited about when you watch rookie quarterbacks is the rookie's ability to throw on the run. It is a rookie rolling out and then making an across the body throw.
half the Mahomes highlights are like that.
Mahomes highlights, all the highlights of Justin Fields and Trey Lance and Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence that all of you guys got hyped about. We take there's so recency bias allows us, and this is where I always say, look at the analytics, look at the film, don't be afraid to buy a subscription of, I'm not going to plug anyone else's stuff, but don't be afraid to buy a subscription to anyone else's, content, whatever the case may be. That's where it comes in, supporting content creators, so that you get extra content out of them. And this is a guy that, like I said, I feel that is heavily being slept on. The analytics show us, the film shows us that he could go out there, he could be a guy, he could do it at a high level, and he can fit into this system. And that Lamar is likely going to pinpoint and target him. He has everything that Lamar looks for. If you love Mark Andrews, there is not a possible way that you cannot love Bateman coming out of the slot. And the thing is, we already know he's playing the slot. We know. We already know. So it's not that there should not be any type of doubt in regards to Bateman. Lamar still threw 30. His rookie year, what was it? 36 touchdowns, and then the year after 26. It was 27. It was 27. I'm sorry. Come on, guys. Lamar still balls. He still puts the ball in the end zone, and it is still, these guys catch the ball. Yeah. Why would you not want a piece of this? Why would you not want a piece? It just doesn't make sense to me. And Andrews is getting older. So they're going to try and preserve him longer. So they may not give him as many targets. Oh, let's try out the new toy. The young guy Bateman.
I couldn't agree more. I don't even have anything to add.
Man, I was like, I rest my case there.
All right, then. So we're going to move on from Bateman as well.
I see the homie Bo up in the chat. What up, Bo?
Yes, sir.
Big time flavor code, man. Make sure y'all get some of that
Hot
seasoning
box
you did.
batch.
Yep. Hot box.
What's worse for me is I got to stick more with the seasoning. So look at me. My palate isn't for super spicy. No, I'm pretty weak. So some of the rubs, good stuff. But oof.
I feel it.
Sauce has the heat that I can't handle.
I feel it. I understand, man.
I max out at about Flamin' Hot Cheetos. That's about my tolerance in terms of heat.
Oh man, I can eat anything spicy. It doesn't bother me. Yeah.
I wish, because the flavor itself is always great, but then it kills me.
I feel it. Your insides die the next day.
Just getting through the 5 minutes of burn.
Burn, baby, burn.
All right. So Moore, Mr. Elijah Moore.
Yes.
New York Jets rookie receiver. Obviously, he's a guy who's gotten a lot of discussion lately. He's shined in OTAs. He's been written about a lot by the beat writers. Clearly, he's been a standout in early work, especially among the rookies. So with the hype around him, I'm curious where you were on Elijah before he started getting a bit more attention recently, and where you are on him now, or actually not where you are on him now, but did any of the reporting change your opinion on him at all?
In terms of Elijah Moore?
Yeah.
So, all right. We're all reacting over one-handed catch. All right. Against I gotta quote the homie Adam Sandler, the goddamn Jets defense, okay? All right. Like, you can't get all right. Like, I know that we all want to take these underdog teams, right? The Bengals, the Jets, the Texans, and all these, teams that
I'm
haven't
sorry, you
won.
said the Texans.
Right. Yeah, we all want, these, the Dolphins, like these teams that haven't done a whole lot in forever, like finally be good, right? Because we're hitting the tide where the older guard of players are starting to retire. So it's like, oh, now there's a chance for like it could be anyone's NFL now. The Jets aren't doing anything. Okay, there are other receivers in Jets camp that are more experienced than Elijah Moore. That Salah's going to be like, listen here, Disney Channel, Mr. Zach Wilson, little pretty boy. You're going to target these guys. Why? Because they're already adjusted to NFL speed. If Elijah Moore is open, then hit Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore screams more viable to me in real football than fantasy football. He's going to be great for you in dynasty. Like, give him time. Just give him time. Is what I guess is what I'm really trying to say. I'm an Elijah Moore truther. I got weak in the knees when I saw the one-handed grab as well. I was like, oh, let's go. Because I love underdogs. I love Cinderella stories. I would love to see this team do something. Eventually. I don't know when. Whenever the curse of Broadway Joe wears off, but eventually it'll happen, right? But let's not get carried away. Corey Davis is there. Jameson, I can't get old as Jameson, old as hell, can't age. Benjamin Button Crowder is there. I don't really believe that Crowder was injured last year. I think Crowder was like, shut it down. We'll save it for next year. We're not winning anything.
Probably saw the pay cut coming, so good move. Exactly,
yeah. Saw a pay cut coming. Denzel Mims, we don't know what he can be. So, Elijah Moore, is he going to see man coverage all the time? Because then he's a beast. Now he's a wide receiver one because he's successful 79.8% of the time against man coverage. Are you going to be seeing press? So these are different things that we have to take into account, and there's just too many questions between the advanced analytics and the film to where I can't get excited over one thing. I have to physically see this. Maybe this is a piece I could trade for. Maybe this is a watch list guy. As much as I'm a truther, if there's money on the line, there's other options I could grab.
I tend to agree with you. He might be a guy I might take as a Mr. Irrelevant pick in redraft. But yeah, I do think I believe in the talent long term, like you. Dynasty, certainly a play. If he gets off to a slow start in the season, from anybody who's excited, I would target him. But
really quick for the chat, Sydney, James Harden wore a damn fat suit to get off the Rockets. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. Wasn't popular. I'd want out of that locker room as soon as the team's going nowhere for the year, especially with the COVID restrictions that they were dealing with. We know that protocol was a struggle for them.
We've seen players do crazy shit to get out of situations, bro. Crazy shit. So yeah.
I can understand, but no, I don't put that past him at all, and I wouldn't blame him at all.
Josh, remember last year, Josh Jacobs? Hey guys, I'm not playing today. And then fucking, bro, he did that to piss off Gruden, bro.
I love the move. I'm all for it. I don't know.
I wasn't mad.
Player on everything.
Yeah, I'm always pro player. I wasn't mad, but you ask, the homie Matty B, the homie Matthew Berry. Matthew Berry went on a whole thing and like, oh my god, I was like, don't do it. I was like, don't do it.
I do love Matthew Berry. Don't get me wrong, love Matthew Berry. But
yeah.
On I mean, you can't try to defend the fantasy player to an NFL player, man. You just can't ever take that to an NFL player. Like, and you should know
People are
that.
depending on you. He
Oh,
said people are depending. I was like, ah, shit. You messed up. You
Bad.
messed up.
And it made us all look bad.
Bro, hey, what's funny is guess who are the only two fantasy analysts to ever interview Josh Jacobs? Who were the last ever fantasy analysts to interview Josh Jacobs?
It's gonna be you, isn't it?
Matthew Berry and me. Ever since Matthew did that, Josh.
Well,
Josh,
you got in when the getting was good, then.
bro, hey, tell me why that exact day Josh Jacobs had unfollowed me. Bro, I was so pissed at Matthew Berry, bro. I was like, yo, why? I got unfollowed, bro. He unfollowed me on Instagram. He unfollowed me on Twitter. Everything.
That's the heartbreaker.
Yeah, he was like, I hate all fantasy analysts from here on out. Just broken heart. But Miko's still the homie, so it's all good, you know. Yeah.
Where were we?
Elijah Moore.
So, in terms of him, yeah, like you were saying, there are more experienced receivers that are in front of him, and with Wilson being a rookie, I think it's going to lean particularly on Davis. I do think Davis took a real step last year that we were all waiting for, and just by him getting paid, you know, I mean, I'm simply projecting based on what I see, but he seems like the kind of guy that's going to come in and try to really justify his contract and his role. Like, he's going to want to prove it's that personality that he's got. So I certainly see him establishing himself. I mean, how dominant, a whole different question, but I definitely think his experience, and then to a slightly lesser degree, Crowder's experience, is something that Wilson's going to completely lean on. I mean, you often hear they lean on TEs. I don't think he's going to be leaning on Herndon, so I think it automatically goes back to the other two vets.
Like, I don't think that you can make the case here that, oh, well, you know, Wilson and Elijah Moore, both being rookies, are going to, you know, connect well, and, you know, because they're around the same age. Like, I don't think that we can necessarily make that take, just because we've always seen the Jets organization, you know, just kind of straight out, flat out suck, right? None of these receivers are wide receiver ones. No. None of them are wide receiver ones. They're bringing in Davis to potentially be a one. But when have we ever seen Corey Davis be a one? You know,
next time will be the first time.
Yeah, I mean, this time, this could potentially be it. Do I see, you know, any of these guys putting up, you know, crazy stat lines? Like, hell no. You know, think of this very, very Philadelphia Eagles last year-esque wide receiver stat lines. Like, think of this like that. Like, I could see this. I could see Corey Davis maybe being the best of them all with 857 yards. I could see 857 yards. I'll give him 5. I'll give him 5 TDs. I'll give him 5.
I think that's pretty realistic.
And I'll make him the team's leading receiver. Everyone else is going to be like around, like under that, like, you know. I mean,
I don't know if anybody else will break 600 receiving yards, and I might even give a few more to Davis, to be honest.
Yeah,
maybe
Davis is the only 1K receiver on there, on that team.
I think he's the only one with that real potential, short of Davis himself getting injured.
Personally. It's gonna be very, 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 very interesting to see this team grow and develop, because there is so much new happening. Going back to the team that we talked about earlier, Duval, Jacksonville. You know, there's so much new happening with both of these teams. Not enough consistency. You know, with Bateman there's consistency there. That organization has consistency. They have culture, so on and so forth. They've established themselves. The other two teams and the other two players that we've covered, Elijah Moore and ETN, culture's not established. Consistency isn't established. So they're a little bit harder to gauge. I say that Moore is the hardest player though out of all that we've covered. That hands down is the hardest to gauge because even the guys around him aren't even ones. You know, and I don't think they're going to force feed him to make him a one. I think you're more inclined to feed the person in Davis that you're paying.
I would agree. And on top of that, in terms of uncertain situations and immediate competition, you know, they're obviously still a team that's going to figure out where they really want to go. Salah's a first-time head coach. I do think he's going to hopefully be able to build this team into something respectable, but it's the Jets, so who knows? But he's dealing with a Buffalo team that's on the continued ascension. Miami's on the rise, depending on. I mean, I'm a Tua believer, so I still think they're on the rise. And even if you're not, Flores has, I think, already shown himself to be
Flores is such a competent coach. He's such a great coach. Yeah.
So I think the arrow's pointing up for them, and as long as Bill's around, the Patriots are the Patriots. I mean, you just never know. I'm never going to go into a season fully counting them out as long as he's around.
Yeah, like I don't mind if fantasy players out there try and fade the team as a whole, but I also don't mind fantasy players, you know, testing their curiosity and walking out of the draft room, maybe with Elijah Moore, maybe with Corey Davis, you know, or Eric Crowder. As long as you're not walking out of the room with Chris Herndon on your roster, you know, I have no problems playing around with you know, in any of these players and seeing how it works out. You know, roster them for like the first 2 weeks, and if they don't do anything, like bye. You know, don't pick up Denzel Mims. I don't think that he's effective.
Out on Mims. So, yeah, so I think we're pretty much on the same page then as far as it goes with Elijah. So, I'd say, yeah, if you can get him at a real late price, last round type of pick, worth a flyer possibly in redraft, depending on how deep your rosters go, but certainly nobody to reach for. And as far as Dynasty goes, you know, even do your redraft strategy. Hopefully, if he comes out, you know, a little flat in the first couple of months, you know, maybe you get to week 7, 8, you get a few people that were high on him to begin with, even with rookie expectations, and you have a chance to get somebody who's out on him early, get him at a steal, and wait for, you know, year 2, year 3 to really see him grow with the Jets.
I'll be honest. I don't even think that. Let's say we're all chilling, right? You, me, everyone that's in the chat. You know, let's say like somebody's a Jets fan, right? And they're wearing their Jets jersey while we're all live drafting. We're all at I don't know, Buffalo Wild Wings. I'll pick a place like everybody knows, like it's like a chain that's everywhere. We're all at Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't even ooh, excuse me. I don't even think the Jets fan in the live draft is reaching for any of these guys. Now, if that happens in your league, feel free to make fun of that person and roast them. And then right after you're done roasting them and you're making fun of them, you know, buy them a drink because it's going to be a long year for them. Okay. All right. You know, treat that person with kindness because they might be going through some things. Like that's a cry for help. That's a cry for help if you reach for any Jets in fantasy, in drafts. I'm just saying.
I have to pay attention to my drafts and see who I need to be hitting in the DMs afterwards.
Yeah, bro.
Make sure they're all right.
Yeah, make sure they're all right. Like, bro, like, is everything okay, man? Like, good. Like, you know,
generally playing with our friends, you know, got to look out for them.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, that's an issue right there.
Know the signs, baby. Know the signs.
Exactly. I've now like pissed off like every Jets follower that you have. They're like, fuck this guy, Robbie. It's okay. I make fun of you on my YouTube channel as well, so get used to it.
Everybody gets equal opportunity when it comes to being mocked. Everybody.
Oh,
We do
all
not
32.
discriminate in the boardroom.
Yep, all 32 teams can get it. All 32 teams can get it.
Nobody's special. Nobody's special.
No? I don't know, man. I don't know. There's Bengals fans out there that swear this is their year. Sad.
I hope that's not true. I hope you're just trolling those guys. Oh man, if there are any Bengals fans who truly believes this is your year, I do encourage you to seek help.
Yeah, go to your local grocery store.
Now I've just alienated the fan base.
Bag. He said, "I just like it happens. It happens." Love it.
All right, so move off the rookies for a bit. Just kind of close it out on a mellow note. Scott Fishbowl. Kind of the shining star of the fantasy industry right now, the center of attention.
Yeah.
Invites are just about out. We're seeing a few straggling ones late as we get close to the draft, and Scott is working to fill out the last of the division slots. Group chats are going off all over the place, whether it's your division, whether it's your draft position, whether you're part of some other strategy group. Mocks are going on all over the place. John Hogue's setting his up through MFL. There's the fantasy workshop or the footballworkshop.com mocks. There's all kinds of resources out there. I mean, this is anybody that's involved either in the main tournament or a satellite or any other charity tournament in general. This is the talk of the town. So I know you're involved in it, of course.
Yeah.
So let's talk just for a couple minutes about Scott Fishbowl.
Yeah, so
not your first year, is it?
No. So I've been in Scott Fishbowl since like 2019, 2018, 2019. I can't remember. I can't even remember. I think like it was like back in like I don't even SFB 9. Yeah, I think it was like SFB 9 that I first started.
Okay.
And I mean, known Scott, or well, got to know Scott through participating in the Fishbowl for like the last like 3 years. But like this is the year, where like him and I we've kind of became a lot closer. This is the year that me and a lot of analysts like I once like looked up to that kind of became like peers and became colleagues. So just that within itself is a mind blower. But usually it's always had a fantasy cares element to it, and like fantasy cares is still a thing. You can still donate to fantasy cares. I don't want anyone to think that you can't donate to fantasy cares. What the Rumboyz Fantasy Network is doing, Scott said, add a charity element to your league. So the Rumboyz to open up the month of July, we're going to be announcing our charity leagues. We haven't decided whether it's going to be a lucky number 7 or just 5 charity leagues. Okay. 7 is my lucky number. I may do 7 charity leagues. And then we're going to have 13 total Rumboyz leagues. We're going to have 3 for education, just teaching you guys how to play fantasy football, looking for all, the new players out there, novices, teaching novices. Then we'll have, some charity leagues, and then we'll have a couple, of course, for cash. But yeah, but we're adding some charity elements to our leagues. One of the leagues is going to be a Rumboyz Philanthropy Showdown, where you can pick where you battle for the charity of your choice. And at the end of the season, the winner receives the donations to their charity of their choice. So, everyone buys in at $25, and, let's say your charity is, I don't know, Black Lives Matter, whatever the case, or St. Jude's, or I don't know, like whatever your charity is, that's, if you win, you win for your cause. Exactly. So that way, everyone gets representation towards their cause, and everyone, is competing for something, that's bigger, better than themselves. Because we need more of that in the world. Honestly, we need to start doing more for other people and stop being so damn selfish and so hateful and so evil. I get that not everyone's going to get along, but we could do a lot more positive, and we could do a lot more good than evil. When we all put our minds together, our hearts together, and sometimes even, a motherfucking wallets.
Absolutely. Dude, that's what this is all about. I mean, that's the whole overarching message and purpose of this tournament.
Yeah,
Obviously, there's the connection component, but I mean, that's also, I think, to kind of serve the later goal of, philanthropy. And and it's not even just philanthropy, the idea behind it, the connection to who you are trying to help. I mean, that's part of it too. It's not just blindly writing some check to some faceless organization. I mean,
exactly.
it's also to mean something, but to see also that this community has taken such a shine to that general idea. I mean, I don't know what year it was in Scott Fishbowl history, but it was not too long ago. SFB 360 to
Yeah,
in regards to the 360 participants to that year's tournament. Now this year's is 1920. I mean, and
exactly.
with what I think 11,000 people or so have applied, and
Yep.
I mean there is clearly an attitude and a want to be part
So,
of something bigger than yourself, better than yourself, and to contribute to something good and
dude,
to help others. And it's great to see that we are part of a group that has that attitude.
has that, like let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, all the viewers at home, the industry that we work in, myself, Tycoon, and I'll even, shout out, the bigger guys, Troy King, Steffi Smalls, Dave Klug, football guys, Adam Rank, the whole NFL Network crew, Florio Grant. I love you guys, CBS Sports, like all of you guys. Like the fact that we're all in the SFB 11, together. Matty B, shout out to Matty B and the whole fantasy family over there at ESPN. You guys do amazing work. The fact that we're all in this together.
Everybody in the collective, the
Yep,
fantasy collective.
yep. Fantasy, exactly. Fantasy boardroom. You guys starting out. You guys, getting this, popping. You guys are new, and you're in here networking. It's a networking opportunity, but also like realistically, I can speak from the people that I've interacted with, and I've got to know throughout the fantasy industry. We're doing this because we want to be able to make someone else's life better. We want to make multiple different people's lives better. Yes, competition is cool. Yes, drafting is cool. Yes, everything else is like all that is amazing. But we're really, really doing this, like, and beating the best of the best is amazing. But we're doing this, to put a smile on somebody's face, life is short. Like, I'm sure you're gonna interview Scott Fish one day. You're gonna sit down with the homie. You'll hear his story. For those that haven't, I suggest y'all book him. Y'all hit the homie up. And y'all talk to him. Y'all holler at him. I got to know him man to man, heart to heart. And just, we. His heart's in the right place. He's doing this for the right reasons. I'm supporting him. I'm backing him up. A lot of us, in this fantasy space, you go through things. Life teaches you things. Not even just in fantasy, just period. Life teaches you things, and it changes you. It can either change you for the good. It can either make you, a really bitter, just douchey dick type of person, or it can make you, to where, how, you're like, the homie Scott Fish, or, you're like, yourself, or Troy, or, myself, or, anybody else that's out there, that's watching us, viewing this, there's those of us that have been through things, and we decide, what, we're going to give back. What, life is too short. I could be here today and gone tomorrow. Let me do something positive with my time while I'm here. And we were given to whatever you believe in. We've been blessed with this ability to be good at fantasy football. We've been blessed with this ability to provide people content, to give people a time, a moment away from their regular, everyday lives, to enjoy this content, to enjoy, playing fantasy and learning fantasy football. That, we should use it. It's a $9 billion industry. Fantasy football is a $9 billion industry. Why should we not utilize and leverage the money that we're putting into this massive industry to, to raise money and change someone's life? Half of us are out here starting our own companies, trying monetizing YouTube channels and making our own money. Put it back into something positive,
Absolutely. And I mean, don't do it for this purpose, because then it kind of is self-defeating. But I mean, karmically, that's
Yeah.
the right thing to do too. I mean, if you do it
Yeah.
for the karma, it ain't gonna come. But that's a whole different story. But and also, yeah, a lot of time and money is spent on this, and obviously anybody like us that's taking time and energy to try and produce content to share with other people, there's a certain extra level of passion for the game, but
Yep.
I don't. But there's always underlying reasons for that, and I don't think any of us are that into fantasy football because we just love diving through spreadsheets and going through every single stat of every single year and piecing together this puzzle. Because we like to play fantasy football with our friends, we like to meet new people, make new
Yeah.
friends. It's about connection and community, and again, it all falls under that same umbrella of what Scott Fishbowl is about, and Scott Fishbowl is about what fantasy football is about. And in terms of people that put out content doing so to help others, I really do think that's what it's there for. Not only are you trying to help, what's the phrase, Jim from accounting win their work league, which we are trying to do, absolutely, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But you're trying to brighten his day a little bit. I mean, think about when we were teenagers, maybe we were just reading whatever ESPN and Yahoo articles that popped up when we logged in to check our teams, but we got to know those writers.
Yep.
I mean, I hope I have the opportunity to mix it up with him one day. I mean, to this day, I love Brad Evans. Brad Evans, my guy. Like,
dude, hit him up. Hit him up.
Evans, so I will. But as far as he goes, yeah, I mean, that's there's always a couple of those people that you really look forward to when their article drops in a given week or their video drops that week, because it's a little bit more than just the advice that it's given you. You, as fake as it might be, you kind of feel like you build a little something with them.
You build a little bit of rapport. You get to know them. Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
A lot of things, but I feel like that's what we're also trying to bring. And I mean, and that's why I don't worry about oversaturation of this. There's seemingly so many people doing this now, but not everybody vibes with everybody. Not everybody is everybody's cup of tea. Your audience is not. Who's going to watch my show is probably not going to be the same group that's going to be watching you. Watch your show.
Yep.
I don't think a bunch of your audience is going to be coming over to me, and that's not necessarily good or bad. It just is.
If I hear the excuse, and I'm gonna call it an excuse because you see my content. I'm real as hell with it. If I hear the excuse,
you seem to beat around the bush.
all the time, right? Yeah, all the time. Of that, the market is oversaturated. I'm gonna lose my shit. Like legitimately. Like if you feel that the market is oversaturated, I'll say this here. I don't care. We're at hour 03. We can clip this and we can post it on Twitter. We can post on Instagram. We can make a TikTok. I don't give a damn. If you think the market is oversaturated, get out, because you're clogging it up for people that already know that it's not oversaturated. You're already giving up on yourself. You're imposing self-doubt and disbelief within yourself. You are putting an excuse in your head as to why you shouldn't work harder and why you shouldn't go harder and why. No, don't worry about what I'm doing. Don't worry about what Tycoon is doing.
It will become a self-fulfilling prophecy if you do that.
Exactly. Don't put negative thoughts into your head. Don't allow, negativity to creep in your mind and toxicity to creep in your mind. In order to do this stuff, you have to have full 100% confidence in yourself. It doesn't matter if you're getting 3 views an episode. It doesn't freaking matter if you're getting 100 views, if you're getting 100K views. If you work at it, and if you're a personable person, if you are just genuinely 100% yourself, whether even if you're playing a character, while you're delivering content, the homie Matty Daddy, he has like 5 different fucking characters that he plays. Yeah, but that's his authentic self. That people can tell. Is be your authentic self. Don't try and kiss ass. Don't do none of that. Like just be yourself, build connections, build relationships. People are going to be able to tell when you're genuine and you're going to be successful. Like that's straight up. Like, and do not doubt yourself. Do not doubt yourself.
And anybody that's listening out there, I mean, just know Robbie's speaking as much to me as to anybody else out there that's considering doing this, not doing it, put a pause on what they've started. I mean, if I'm out here doing this in June of 2021, middle of the off season, in a time where it does seem that a lot of new people are coming onto the scene, then there's room for you too. There's room for everybody. And again, if people enjoy your energy or your work, or simply just need another outlet, they'll gravitate towards you if you're putting out something that's worth gravitating toward. And if you feel like it's not, I mean, just from the beginning of this episode to right now, I've seen a little bit of improvement, especially with the calming energy of Robbie here. It can be done, and just keep working at it. What's up, Hollywood Titan?
Yo, Hollywood.
So yeah, keep that encouragement going, positivity going. Keep the dream alive. I mean, we're here to have fun, and see, even for me, I'm not necessarily out here trying to become a big star. I mean, it'd be awesome. Hopefully, I mean, I would love to go somewhere with this, but that's not the number one driver. It's back to helping people, just having some fun, establishing myself and with the community a bit more, especially with Scott being rich enough to invite me into Scott Fishbowl. So definitely want to put myself out there a bit more, actually be a part of it, since that, again, is one of the number one reasons for the tournament existing. So now I'll stop rambling.
Nah, bro, you're good. You're good. Yeah, and really quick, before we close out, I just want to remind everybody, even if you didn't get into SFB 11, even if you didn't get into Scott Fishbowl, you can still donate. It's not about, and you can still add a charity element to your fantasy league, and you can always apply next year. There's going to be the satellite leagues that you could play in, so you're still a part of the community that way. Some of us also still play in satellites, or still hop in a satellite, to keep it lively. So, you still feel like, you're up against some competition. My very first time I played up against one of Pat Mayo's guys in a satellite,
I had a great group in the satellite last year. I didn't get the invite to the main tournament. The satellite was a blast. It was awesome.
Exactly. And everyone has to start off somewhere. So, don't go on Twitter hating, like, you don't get an invite or whatever. Don't do that shit.
That drives me nuts, man. Don't complain to Scott because you didn't get it. There's only so many.
Exactly. Don't inbox me talking about some, Robbie, can you do a tweet for me so I can get it? No, I'm gonna do it because I genuinely want to freaking do it, because that's what I chose to do at my time, because I'm a very busy person. All right, that's straight up. I do things genuinely off the strength, off the heart, just because I just genuinely love people. And yeah,
and it shows. And I started following you probably mid-season last year. I think I probably found you around Halloween or so.
Oh fuck! Please don't tell me you found me during the Black Cat at play-by-play. Fuck.
No. I think it was one of the random Rumboyz After Darks around that time. That's what it originally brought me in, and it's probably what I still tune into most. Love the Friday night shows.
I can't wait for this Friday. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, it's gonna be.
Well, we'll get to that in a second then. Oh man, now I lost my train of thought. But yeah, kind of wrapping up just in general though, your authenticity certainly shows, in your shows. I've been that's where I was going with this. So yeah, following you since about mid-season last year, and it's been a blast doing so. I love you and your group, but particularly you because of a lot of what you've said here tonight. Just your general positive, encouraging tone. I mean, and I hate using the word like real or legit. All that shit. It feels like it just gets thrown around far too often. But your genuine nature, I think, clearly comes through, and I think that's something people appreciate, and why you've seen the growth you've seen over the years, and why I think you're going to continue to see your growth, not only with your network, but with what you're going to tell us about here in a minute. So please keep that up. And another great example is, once again, you mentioned just 2 minutes ago, you're a very busy man. I hit you up yesterday out of the blue, asked you to jump on the pod, and look at you've come and joined me. We were even talking a little bit, probably been connected here for almost an hour and a half out of your busy schedule, something you absolutely do not have to do. and you did it. I think we've had a great time, but I think it speaks volumes as to what you are actually about, and it's just awesome. And I really, I can never say thank you enough.
No, man, it's about you. It's about everyone in the chat. It's about the people. It's about the community. It's about building a community. The Rumboyz community is linked with the fantasy football community. My community is y'all's, and my family is y'all's, and we appreciate you guys for embracing a bunch of crazy DJs like us. And we promise to never change, and we promise to always be there for you guys and have you guys back. So it's been a pleasure, man. You kicked ass today, by the way. So no.
Appreciate it, Robbie.
Of course.
So
yeah.
before we get out of here, I
Yeah.
know you're working on something pretty exciting, and I don't really want to spoil anything, so just let you see if I don't even want to call it a plug. Just tell us about what you're working on.
So yeah, I need everyone out there to download this Sports Me app. That is the word sports and me, like yourself, the person. Download the Sports Me app. It's available on both iOS and Android. You can go to getsportsme.com and it'll take you to your Play Store and download it. 30-second quick click content. You're able to interact with athletes, different analysts, the casual fan, and many more. Right now, I'm just going to be transparent with all of you. We are looking at trying to, see, there it is. There. It's right there. Go to that website and download the app. Press one of those buttons and it'll take you to the App Store, and you can download it. But Ryan Hollins is on there. Andrew Wiley of the Kansas City Chiefs. Right now, we're working on a pilot with our San Diego creators, our San Diego personalities, Ben and Woods. They're on 97.3 The Fan, covering the San Diego Padres. We are actually they're going to be doing some ad reads, and they're going to be chopping up some of the Sports Week content. So if you drop a take and it's really good, you have an opportunity of being heard in front of 1.41 in a city of 1.41 million people. So we're doing a lot of promotion there. I'll be transparent with you guys. I'm in kind of a bidding war, trying to get them to them and Odyssey Sports, because that's who 97.3 partners with and works through, getting them to become investors, and we're trying to take over the sports app world. We're still a baby. We're still growing. New update drops next week on the app. So make sure that if you already have the app, you download it again. You see it's a highly rated app in the App Store. And 4.8. And like I said, you're able to go on the app. You can debate myself about fantasy football. You can even ask me a fantasy football question. If you need advice, you don't even have to make it a debate.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited. I'm gonna actually take care of this right now.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, download it. Bro. I will make it a battle right now while we're live on your show. I'm literally gonna do it right here, right now. It's this easy as just pulling out your phone, opening up the app, and it uses your camera. It uses your camera reel, your camera roll, whatever, your camera, so that you can record. And then while this thing loads, hold on.
Yeah, I gotta download it now.
A freaking phone battery is like not letting anything happen. There we go. So yeah, Sam is freaking by a ocean. Like New York has water like that. Sorry, like one of my guys on the app, and like he's like in front of an ocean. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you that close to the water? That looks dangerous. But yeah,
he's in the water.
Exactly. Yeah, it looks like he's in the water. So you go on the app and you can post a video just like this. Sportsman, what's going on? It's your boy Rumboyz Robbie of the Rumboyz Fantasy Network. I am actually live on air, getting ready to wrap up with the homie Tycoon, Fantasy Football Tycoon. You guys can check him out at the Fantasy Boardroom. Tonight we talk about Elijah Moore, Bateman, Travis Etienne. I just want to know you guys' thoughts on these three rookies. I'm really high on Bateman. Moore, I might be fading. Etienne, I could definitely have a piece of. What are your thoughts? Let's go. And then boom, it's posted.
I think that's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, and then people can go in and they can chime in.
Everybody wants to have their opinion heard. This makes access to doing so real easy. I mean,
yeah,
you've really gotten rid of barriers for doing so.
Bro, have you ever called into to your favorite sports radio station? And like either they hang up or either you don't get in. Now you can do that. Now you can do that. Now everyone gets in,
Those are both terrible experiences. Yeah, you wait on hold for 45 minutes, an hour, they don't let you in, or when they do, you get one sentence out, the host kind of blows you off, click.
So, exactly. Now we break the barriers. Yeah, we break those barriers. So I mean, download it, check it out. It's fun. You receive points. If your battle is good, you can become the winner. You can go back and forth as many times as you want. Make your video thread as long as you want. And yeah, I mean, we're getting this this technology into the locker rooms of the MLB, the NBA, the NFL, NHL. We're getting this into gyms and ball fields and stadiums everywhere. We're really pushing. We're really trying to make this big for you guys. So download it, check it out, share it with your friends.
Start using it.
Yeah.
All right. So again, guys, Sports Me, just put in Sports Me into your app store, the Google Play Store, pops up easily, or go to the website here and go direct. And don't forget to be subscribing to the Rumboyz Network on YouTube. My personal favorite is the stream they do. Robbie does with the panel every Friday, Rumboyz After Dark. That is the show. Be sure to check that out. And just follow Robbie on Twitter if you're just looking for good fantasy advice and encouraging, positive, wholesome content. That's your boy, Robbie.
Wholesome content. Far from
I just wanted to see if I could elicit reaction, man. I'm new to this broadcasting thing.
Nah, keep your kids away from my content. Do not watch my content around your kids. This is not your granddad's fantasy football content. This is fantasy football content not for the weak-hearted.
My dad might be into it. Granddad, no. You're right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us here on this first meeting of the Fantasy Boardroom. And this meeting is adjourned.
Dilly.